All right, so Sultai Bogles. So Sultai, for those not familiar, refers to the 3-color Magic the Gathering combination of green, blue, and black. Bogles is a term that harkens back to the card Slippery Bogle, which sees play in a green-white deck in Modern, which is a 1/1 hexproof creature for 1 mana. So this is a deck that's looking to leverage creatures that have hexproof or pseudo-hexproof in the case of Benthid here, in the green, black, and blue colors. So we got some Hadana's Climb here, which is really sweet alongside hexproof creatures as well, because like obviously it's hard for them to kill your creatures. You're stacking counters on them. They have hexproof. So let's dive into some games. I really like that this deck gets to play some counter spells in the board too, because it's in blue. And the reason why that's especially useful is because there's so many limited ways that people have to interact with hexproof creatures that having disruption of our own feels very reasonable. There are only 14 in the board. I'll have to fix that after this match if so. You're totally right, there's only 14 in the board. We're gonna have to make a KCI command. Hey, what's going on, Twister? Thanks for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Mark of the Vampire. That's an interesting card. Sorry, I'm adding a command for the Bandit Restricted, so because people are gonna ask about that. Alright, Ritual of Soot looking pretty okay here. Man, that's a lot of Mark of the Vampire. This card seems sweet with our hexproofers, but 3 or 4 is a lot. Ritual of Soot looking excellent here if we can make our land drop. We could even potentially play Ritual of Soot next turn, right? So here's the thing. Mini Koopa, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. There isn't an objective measurement for what healthy means in Magic the Gathering. So saying there's 40 decks, so it has to be healthy means sure, for your whatever your definition of healthy is, maybe that means it's healthy. But for people that like a diversity of strategies to be good, Modern tends to fall really short. Modern's a format where there's lots of different ways that you can kill your opponent by turn 3, but generally you're still just trying to kill your opponent by turn 3. So it feels a little bit bad here to be Ritual of Sooting and letting them draw a bunch of cards, but I definitely can't just sit here and keep getting beat on by these. What's the best website to find updated decks? You can find a bunch of updated decks on my own website. Click standard decks at the top, and I actually updated all of them yesterday. Find lots of really fantastic stuff there. Oh no! Chat! They have our kryptonite, chat! How is that fair? That's what? Completely unreasonable. It's not even fair. If you do a Google search, you can set up Arena using Wine. Yep. I stream from a Linux computer using Wine. Apparently our opponent's missing land drops, so it doesn't matter. All right, well, let's fix what we have going on here, and then we'll jump into another match here. Apparently they were scared of Vine Mare. How are we doing, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody over out in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. My name is Jeff Logan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. Hey, Kuhin, thank you for the 6-month resub. I appreciate the half a year. Welcome back. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel like Kuhin just did there. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past subscribing and also support my sub by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/Shave. You can save $5 on your brand new starter kit with them. Remember, just because you like playing the degenerate decks doesn't mean you need to look like it. Hurley Burley Studio does professional Magic the Gathering altars. They do border extension as well as full art replacements using code Jeff10 at hurleyburleystudios.com. You can save 10% on any of your altar plate orders there. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into other cards direct with other players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. And of course, Inked Gaming would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there with them. Let's make some edits to this Sultai deck, at least put an extra card in the sideboard before we move along. There are a lot more than 19 lands in this deck. There are 23 lands in this deck, along with a bunch of cantrips, so... Quench in the sideboard's a little bit weird. I'm gonna put a couple of Eldest Reborns in the board. Seems good at getting our Hexproofers back. Quench is weird in the board. Cry seems fine. Knight seems fine. There aren't that many detection towers in the format, so a couple of Moment of Cravings are probably good for beating up aggro too. Let's give this a go. Towards my Orzhov aggro, definitely Hurley. Thank you for the biddies. Quick question about your Just List, the website. It plays 4 Sinister Sabotage versus Absorb. So here's the thing about Sinister Sabotage versus Absorb. So Sinister Sabotage is much better in games that are going long, because obviously in games that are going long, the selection is very powerful. That being said, Absorb, the health you gain from it, is very good in the fast, brutal games of Magic the Gathering. And in fast, brutal games of Magic the Gathering, gaining 3 life is going to find you way more cards on average than just getting 1 Surveil will. And in general, it's much better to hedge the aggressive matchups rather than the control matchups, because in the control matchups, they're not pressuring your health total, which means you have more time to find your impactful cards, whereas in the aggressive matchups, you have less time to find your impactful cards. I think if you can cast Absorb and Sabotage both consistently, you'd much rather have Absorb most of the time. So probably something more controlling. I guess we'll just keep ramping them up here. Playing against a control deck probably means these 4 cards don't have a text box here. And this is one of the things that actually makes me enjoy Best of 3 more, is that, like, if you're playing a matchup like this in Best of 1, you just, like, have all these cards, they're just never going to do anything. Whereas, like, in Best of 3, we get to go to a post-board game now and, like, change some of this stuff out. Change out these cards that literally don't have a text box for cards that can be impactful. And we get to play 3 games with impactful, or 2 games with impactful cards here. Eldest Reborn sounds good. Knight of Malice seems good against their white-based control deck. Negate seems reasonable as well. I want to cut here. Vine Mare is probably... Mark of the Vampire, we're not really racing in this matchup. They're more controlling, so Spell Pierce seems reasonable. Spell Pierce plus Assassin's Trophy is a little bit of a non-bow, because, like, this card gets worse as they get more lands, and this gives them more lands. So I could see maybe not wanting Spell Pierce because I'm playing Trophy. Probably still something aggressive. Is 23 lands too few? I don't think so. So the important thing to remember, and this is something a lot of people miss during deck building, is that your land count isn't just your raw land count. It's also takes into effect the number of cards you have that draw cards. So while we only have 23 lands in our deck, we have 4 copies of Opt and 4 Growth Spiral, which effectively make our deck smaller and allow us to do our land drops more consistently. Any new cards we're going to try out in Modern? Yeah, we've got a couple of Electro Dominance decks in the queue for Modern. And we also have a couple of Growth Spiral Scapeshift decks, I believe. We're going to do some Modern tomorrow morning with new cards. Phoenix Land, starting an unpaid internship, so I'll have to cut back soon, but I wanted to re-up one last time. Well, thanks for the entire year's support. Good luck with your internship, Phoenix. Scapeshift does sound bad and fun, I agree. What's going on, Spy Slinger? Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine with that. Why on earth do you need an instant speed Scapeshift, Persip? Putting Electro Dominance and Scapeshift to have instant speed Scapeshift sounds like a really classic example of making a change to your deck to not solve a problem that you actually have. Well, thanks for helping keeping me here making content, Spy Slinger. But Persip, you're missing again. I'm not sure if maybe you haven't played Scapeshift, but like, if your Scapeshift is lethal, you don't. If you view Scapeshift as lethal, if your Scapeshift is lethal, why do you need to hold up an instant speed card? Just cast your card and kill them. Stony Silence stops KCI, Tumos. Stony Silence stops mana abilities. What's interaction, Persip? Scapeshift isn't bad in Modern because it can't beat the counterspell decks. If anything, Scapeshift is really good against the counterspell decks. So again, play the decks, figure out what their problems are, and then ask yourself, do these new cards solve their problem? And Electro Dominance doesn't fix that problem. Like, blue Scapeshift, Temur Scapeshift, Bring to Light Scapeshift is good against decks like Jeskai Control most of the time. So like, you're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist. So I need to trophy this because it can gain Death Touch. Well, so far, the matchup variance has not been kind to our Bogles deck. We've played against someone who had Detection Tower, and now we're playing against Consume, which is, this card is great. Really love this card. By the transitive property of ban, Stoneforge Mystic is as powerful as KCI. Basically, Sean, thank you for the happy years, but I appreciate that. Welcome back. No unbans for my sub anniversary. It is sad. J Shrimp, thank you for the 13 months. Welcome back. Consume is very, very good. Oh my gosh, they just drew a card off of it too. Gosh, how dead are we? Pretty dead? I definitely feel like we're floating towards the dead side of the scale on the scale of 1 to dead. Let's get rid of this Dawn of Hope. I'm like, hope that they don't have one of your other 7 answers to our Carnage Tyrant. Does Consume replace Eldritch Reborn? No, those cards do fundamentally different things. So Consume is an actual answer to Carnage Tyrant, whereas Eldritch Reborn is a card that's played to generate card advantage and generally kill things like Teferi and Niv Mizzet against control decks that tend to not have a lot of creatures. So like, Eldritch Reborn has never been a good answer to Carnage Tyrant. Because a lot of the Carnage Tyrant decks have a lot of... Alright, are we done here? I'm going to take one more draw step, but we're probably done here. You're just not beating them drawing that many cards. Old Boy Merlin, in Modern, almost everybody does some damage to themselves. So, like, if your argument is Electro Dominance is good because it's Lightning Bolt for 7 mana, that's probably not the case. Yeah, the opponent was playing Orzhov Control. Will the 120 decks be up on YouTube at some point? Well, I did just stream yesterday, Crazy Crab, so there aren't any decks that we played on 120. I took yesterday off. I took yesterday off and updated my website, which I'm going to plug a bunch today. So if you're looking for new decks for this brand new standard format, be sure to check that out. Ton of hand-curated deck lists up there. Yep. Ritual of Soot looking good. Need another black source, I suppose, though. I like the inclusion of Growth Chamber Guardian in their deck. This is definitely one of the cards that stands out to me as one of the better cards in this format, or one of the better cards from the new set specifically. So we got 2 shots to draw an untapped black source here. I might. I don't know. The mana base in this deck has not been kind to us. I think mathematically it's pretty reasonable, but definitely doesn't feel good at the moment. Yeah, happy to do my best to make the site useful so people want to be there watching. Yep, so that's just like the end of the game basically. Any tips or tricks for brewing or constructing your own decks? I identify as a filthy neck decker, but I'm trying to change for the better. There's nothing wrong with taking decks off the internet. In fact, if you're unsure the best way to approach brewing, taking decks off the internet is the best way to brew. Is the best way to play Magic. If you enjoy playing decks you've taken offline, that's a great way to play Magic. The best way to get better at building decks is to take decks that are established and good and really look at them critically and think about like what they're doing and why and how you could possibly make small changes to make them better. Or after you make changes to them, think about, well, if this change was bad, why was it bad? The new Kaya is likely not a playable card. I don't actually think I have any cards in my sideboard that I want to bring in against a green-black or a Jund deck. I'm just gonna go ahead and click submit here. I mean, Domri might be good, but like the fact that like we just played a game where I just didn't play any spells, like probably isn't indicative of Domri's power level. Yeah, Gorks, I like the flying build of the Rhythm deck a lot for sure. And this hand is double opt, so hopefully we're gonna hit our land drops. What deck am I most excited to test in Modern? Honestly, I'm kind of medium on Modern these days. Wait, when I started playing elves in Modern, that was kind of me giving up on sweet decks. It was me going, you know what? I just need to attack people for lots of damage very quickly. Modern's a brutal fast format, and I prefer doing things that are a little bit more interesting, having more back and forth. I think best of 3 is the real way to play Magic. I think best of 3 is the way I personally enjoy playing Magic, and if other people like playing best of 1, that's great for them. Magic's a great game because it's a lot of little games all wrapped up into one, and there's not just one correct way to play Magic. There's limited, there's standard, there's best of 1, there's best of 3, there's modern, there's legacy. They are designing the game around, they designed the game around modern, they designed the game around EDH, they designed the game around best of 1, they designed the game around best of 3. Magic isn't one game. It's a rules engine to play lots of different games. In my opinion, best of 1 is fundamentally a different format of Magic. There are things that are good in best of 1 that are bad in best of 3, and vice versa. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this with the Doomblade, and then if we untap and draw a land for this, we'll be in the game, and if we don't, we'll concede. All right, good chat, good chat. Let's add some more lands to the stack. Gar, or lack of. I think I'm gonna cut the growth spirals and like add some actual lands. Have some bits to celebrate KCI being banned. Woo, KCI. So what is this deck doing? Let's think for a hot second about what we're doing. I feel like I want to add some more lands to the bottom up, some more lands. 'Cause like every game we just keep dying on bricking lands. And like Growth Spiral is a card that like, while the acceleration is nice, this deck probably doesn't have enough lands in it to consistently hit a second land with the Growth Spiral. I think I'm gonna trim those and like go up at least one land, maybe even 2, honestly. Just gonna add like, how many green sources are here? Just add a woodland cemetery and like a basic forest. I think I want 25 lands, I agree. I just want to be actually able to play Magic so I can assess if the spells are good. Hey, Mr. Most, thanks for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Well, the 7-month, there was a 3 in your name, a 7-month resub. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, room for a couple more spells down here at the bottom end. Honestly, Discovery might not be bad. It would help if I spell Discovery correctly. Put these towards Mardu. Angels will do Weasel. Thanks for the support. I'm gonna go ahead and trim these Spell Pierces because they just seem really awkward with the what's it called over here. I don't have any Planeswalkers in this deck. Let's put a copy of what's that card called? The 6-mana artifact. Oh, I'm blanking on its name. Immortal Sun. Let's get one of those on the board. Treasure Map could be okay. Treasure Map ramps us up eventually too. Yeah, let's do that instead of the Discovery. I like that idea. How much to cut the line and get Bant counters into today? I'll do a standard cut for 50 Ozar. I think, wait, let me double check. I'm not sure how many points these other decks are at. These other decks have a lot of points. I'll do a standard cut for 100. Sorry, I gotta be fair is fair. The things are backed up right now. Otherwise it's much cheaper to get it into tomorrow. 50 would get you in first thing tomorrow morning. Or first standard deck tomorrow. Is Trophy better than a cantrip like Growth Spiral? Well, those cards do fundamentally different things. So a cantrip lets us see more of our deck to get to the other cards that we have more consistently. Whereas a card like Assassin's Trophy allows us to interact and keep us alive. This is fine. As you're going to play 3 lands in 3 turns, maybe even 4 would be exciting. spinning this because, or bottoming this because I want another blue source here. Perfect. I'm gonna play the Woodland Cemetery out here because I'm an idiot and it comes into play tapped. I should have played the Swamp. I intended to leave Cast Down up this turn, but this land definitely doesn't put this into play untapped. Didn't matter. God bless. This is a fog effect. Maybe I should put card highlight over fog. So fog is an effect that prevents combat damage. I've never used Wine on OS X before. I use Linux operating system, so I don't have any personal experience for you. So I'd encourage you to go respond to one of the threads where someone posted about running it on OS X. Man, this is another Consume deck. Consume's a real bad beat. We got this Dorko. If we had a land next turn, we'll probably play this out. If we miss, we'll suit this up with the +2/+2 and go to combat. Yep. Yeah, black-white seems pretty brutal. Like, badge level up bits. Also possible to get any text on screen being free that KCI was banned in Modern, so chat can stop chasing its tail. Nah, I really don't want to clutter my overlay with that, Squid Squad. Even, listen, as someone who's literally put the text, the deck lists are linked under the stream on the overlay before, and then still has people come in constantly and ask where the deck lists are, people are still gonna miss that. You can drown a horse in water trying to make it drink. That's how that saying goes, right? Reading's tough. Literacy is a big problem among Magic players. You explain why? No, I'm not. I don't play a lot of Jeskai. I'd recommend going and asking someone who plays a lot of Jeskai, or perhaps is playing Modern. People are probably playing Rip because Jeskai is really terrible, and they need to like find a card to steal games. I'm aware that Gruesome Menagerie is currently bugged. So still missing land, still feels bad. Yeah, I have a desk with motors in the leg, so I split my time about 50-50 standing and sitting. About half the time I'm... That's a little bit more. About 2/3 of the time I'm standing. So next turn, I can start Hottest climbing the Nightveil Predator. Yep. Alright, so we'll kill this, and then we'll untap and play Climb. Let's get Climb going first, so that way we can get the counter stacked up on this to flip this over. They could have a Mortify in their hand here. Yeah, I think that pause was them putting a stop on my main phase to Mortify this. Man, the opponent's deck just, like, has has all of the answers that line up well into what we have going on. Feels like we have a really difficult time trying to keep up with what they're doing here. Yeah, Seraph is probably my favorite animation right now. We played a bit of Black White Angels over the weekend, and this card's really sweet. It's both a powerful card, and it has great artwork, and a sweet animation when it comes down. Yeah, I agree. Mortify is the type of really flexible answer that's really makes control decks and interactive decks a lot better. We're just, like, pretty hosed here, right? Got approved, but I haven't donated yet while I wait to get my new debit card. I've made a lot of changes since. Should I resubmit? Yeah, if you've made a bunch of changes, it's been a little while, you should resubmit, please. I'm gonna try and find a match that we can actually win. Someone that doesn't have consumes and mortifies and all that jazz. Let's give us another try here. Maybe I should wait 30 seconds for that person to requeue in case they're requeuing. Yeah, I agree, Panza. And this is, honestly, this really highlights one of the things that's awesome about Standard versus Modern. Like, in Modern, the Bogles deck has a bunch of creatures that are difficult to interact with, and it's very obnoxious to play against. In Standard, there are just so many efficient ways to interact with things that are even hex-proof, and which is one of the reasons why this format is so great. Like, there's so much back and forth if you want there to be. Nice deck, though. So this hand has 2 tap lands in it. Perfect. Island's great. So because we drew an island, I want to make sure I play my Woodland Cemetery first, because island's going to mean Drowned Catacombs comes into play untapped, but the Woodland Cemetery would still be tapped. Yeah, details on how to submit decks can be found on my website here. There's a form that you need to fill out, and then I'll respond to you via email after a day or so. Am I just playing Climb here? I think I'm just playing Climb. We have a Rhythm of the Wild, which is a little bit scary. Means they're going to be able to run us down pretty quickly. Sweepers like Phyrexian Scriptures and Ritual of Soot leave a lot to be desired when this allows all of my opponent's potential creatures to gain haste, right? So if I sweep, they can immediately have follow-up pressure because of Rhythm of the Wild. I don't even think it's just about the hexproof creatures being slow. I think it's just like they're a little bit slow, but then they're also easy to interact with because there's so many ways to interact with the format. Part of the problem with Modern is that everything is hyper efficient, so the answers also need to be, which narrows the availability. Yeah, I agree. Getting to play a little bit more expensive cards that allows you to have more flexibility is great, and Standard really enables that well, where Modern does not. Wow, that's powerful. So they use Prime Speaker Vanifear here to upgrade one of their creatures into another, and then Growth Chamber Guardian came into play and got a 1/1 counter from Rhythm of the Wild, which allows it to find another copy of itself here. And then, like, Ritual of Soot sitting here looking incredibly awkward because this kills things that cost 3 or less, so this costs 4. I think we just put Phyrexian Scriptures into play here, and then I hope they don't have... If they have, like, a Reclamation Stage in their main deck, they're going to be able to destroy this. The opponent actually looks to be playing the deck that we're going to be playing next today, which is Temur Pod or Temur Vanifear. Pod reference backs to the card Birthing Pod, which was a card from the set New Phyrexia about 6 or 7 years ago that had the same effect that Prime Speaker Vanifear does, which is allowing you to upgrade your creatures. No attack with this is bad for us because it implies that they have a way to kill this. I think Temur is better than Bant. I have no idea. I haven't played with Bant. We played a little bit of Temur before, and we had someone else donate to run it back. So if you're not familiar with my stream, the decks that we play on the stream are all viewer-submitted deck lists. So either a viewer sends in the exact deck list card for card that we're playing, or they send in a, hey, will you build this specific idea? And then we build around it. So Phyrexian Scriptures has a new effect every time it comes into play. The first time it comes into play, it makes one of our creatures safe, basically, from its second effect. And its second effect is destroy all non-artifact creatures. So if we get to untap and start our next turn with this Phyrexian Scriptures in play, it's going to kill all my opponent's creatures. That's funny. So Squee the Immortal is a 3-mana card here that they can play from their graveyard and from exile. So Squee, even though it died there, they're going to get to recast it. So that was a good one for them to search up. We just go ahead and play Nightveil Predator here. Hadana's Climb is going to go ahead and start powering this up. This is the first time we've gotten to put a counter on something with Climb today. That feels good. I think I'm going to continue to not scry with this during my upkeep, because if I hit the 5th land naturally next turn, I want to play the Mesmerizing Benthid. Yeah, that's worth noting too. Squee notably has red in his casting cost, and my opponent does not have 2 red producing lands, so they can't currently cast Squee. Yeah, I agree, the Pat. If your only definition for a healthy Magic format or healthy TCG format is there's a lot of different deck names that you can play, then Modern's plenty healthy. It is Monday. Howdy to all the folks dipping in from the Twitch front page. My name is Jeff Hoagland. We're streaming Magic the Gathering Arena here currently. It is a strategy card game. The digital implementation of the original strategy card game, Magic the Gathering. Well, Squee can be cast from exile as well as the graveyard here. I have another Prime Speaker. Woof. So this lets them upgrade. The Crab is really powerful, the Growth Chamber Guardian with Prime Speaker, because the Growth Chamber Guardian keeps finding more copies of itself, and then Vanifier gets to start upgrading those copies into bigger, scarier threats, like this 4/4 that's attacking. It's hard for me to really give my opinion about a given deck without seeing a specific deck list. When you just say, hey, Jeff, like, what do you think of archetype Y? It's like, well, there's a lot of different cards that could go into that archetype, so it's hard for me to know. Mark of the Vampire here is sweet. It gives this 2/2 and lifelink. So I'm going to get to go ahead and power this up with Hadana's Climb here again and then crack them for 7. But most notably, not only am I hitting them down to 11 with this, but I'm also going up to 18 here. So it makes this incredibly difficult for my opponent to race. Because not only am I hitting them with an evasive creature in the air that they have a hard time blocking, but I'm also gaining a bunch of life back every turn. I think they usually play... We have the 5/5. Yeah, we have Thunder Shaman. So this is going to get to hit us and destroy one of our artifacts or enchantments. So I assume they're going to destroy Mark of the Vampire here. Actually, they need to destroy Hadana's Climb, right? Because if they destroy the Mark of the Vampire, Hadana's Climb is going to flip next turn and give Nightveil Predator a lethal attack. So we know about all their cards at this point. They have a Squee in exile that they can cast if they find another red. And they also have a Growth Chamber Guardian here. This gained haste, so it does make red. Or just adapting right away, sure. First thing tomorrow it is. Sounds good, Ozar. I appreciate the support. Thanks for keeping me employed here. We played any Jund decks yet? We've not, but we are going to play a Jund Judith deck later today. So I believe they have to kill this, but if they're killing this, I'm still racing pretty efficiently in the air. And Assassin's Trophy is a great card to have on top of my deck, because Assassin's Trophy is going to let me destroy the Thunder Shaman that would otherwise get rid of my Mark of the Vampire. And Mark of the Vampire is what's allowing me to race here efficiently. Although I guess I could also just play the Mesmerizing Benthid out, because this makes 2 0/2s when it comes into play. This card actually seems pretty sweet. This card might just be playable in general. So they're dead next turn. So what makes me... Yeah, I think holding the trophy for a flying blocker makes a lot of sense. So playing this out means I have plenty of blockers to not die in combat next turn. And then this lets me clear out. That was a great animation. And then this lets me clear out a flying blocker if they put one into play, so I can kill them next turn. So this thing has hexproof as long as at least one of these O2s is still alive. So this can eventually lose hexproof And again, I think this is a really interesting design space for Hexproof to be, because Hexproof can be difficult because it stops the opponent from interacting with you, but this card creates an axis where it's like a temporary Hexproof, where if you interact with these things first, then you can get to the big monster. Yeah, we are on the front page right now, so we'll probably have a little bit of a viewer boost for the next 2 hours or so. We're gonna be up there till about noon cornfield time. Yep, yeah, we're on the front page for every Monday this month from 10 to noon. So, I believe there's usually a dragon in the opponent's deck, so they could upgrade this to a flyer to potentially block this, but the fact that we have Assassin's Trophy is going to put that away. Yeah, bored and went to your website. I was looking at Bant Walls. I was curious about your take on Tower Defense. I think Tower Defense is an individually weak card that I'm not really interested in playing in that deck. I'd rather play things like Dive Down that have a little bit less blowout potential, but also a little bit more consistent. Wonder what they're going to Prime Speaker here. I think the conservative play is probably to upgrade this into a dragon so they have 2 flying blockers. Okay, they're doing that. Oh, no, I was just say, what do you think about the ban of KCI? Got a command here for that. So they're going to bounce my token here. Sure. So I get to trophy this and then attack for lethal. Alright, finally on the scoreboard. Finally on the scoreboard. What are we doing? So, Cry of the Canarium doesn't really exile or remove a lot of my opponent's threats because it only gets -2/-2. They have a... Honestly, I don't think I have any cards in the sideboard for this matchup. Negate's not particularly good because my opponent doesn't have a lot of non-creature spells. Knight of Malice is here for more aggressive decks that are lower to the ground. So, like, things where a 2/2 first strike can block meaningfully. And then, same thing with these. These are here for removing smaller creatures. Eldritch Reborn has, like, some relevant text on it, and the fact that it brings a creature back from the discard pile to play, but the first line making them sacrifice a creature isn't quite fantastic, because my opponent tends to have a lot of things like Land War Elves and other smaller creatures they don't mind throwing away. So, and they don't have Planeswalkers for Immortal Sun to be very good, so I'm just gonna go ahead and run back the main deck we have here. Maybe a disenchant? Well, I don't have any things to destroy enchantments in my sideboard. No Nexus ban. It's really funny to me that if you think Nexus of Fate should be banned in Magic standard format, you should definitely take the time to play some best of 3, because Nexus is really bad in best of 3. Thanks to the banned flash decks, it's the most fun I've had in a while. I added Wilderness Reclamation in the main, and you took Teferi out. So I feel like the flash deck doesn't have the card advantage to leverage something like Wilderness Reclamation. I am also looking forward to Best of 3 ranked. I agree with that. Best of 3 is really my favorite way to play Magic. Like, while we didn't have useful sideboard cards here because our main deck lines up okay with what the opponent's doing, generally speaking, that's not how it always works, and you're often getting to make upgrades out of your sideboard. Took the other land here and scryed it to the bottom because I already have 4 lands in my hand. Overgrown Tomb's the land we want to lead on here because these lands come into play untapped if we already have a swamp in play. Yeah, the concurrent viewer record was 9.3K we hit last weekend. So, I need to make a decision here. I either could cast down this Incubation Druid to stop them from getting to things faster, or I could just leave it in play and, like, let them play things out at an accelerated rate, hoping Phyrexian Scriptures is going to get to clean things up. So I had to play some Black White Angels and Indies, but STG is out as Seraph of the Scale, so gotta go digging for those. Awesome punk count. Good luck there. I think we're supposed to kill this, and part of the reason is that my opponent's deck, especially post-board, is going to have more ways to interact with my enchantment, and if I don't get to untap with this, it's not going to kill everything. Is the early favorite for best card out of Allegiance. In my experience, Growth Chamber Guardian as well as Theater of Horrors are my two of my favorite cards out of the set. Judith is pretty good too, though. Speaking of, thanks, Spawnbroker. Ritual of Soot is a fantastic hit here. It means I'm just going to get to kill both of these. Do you have any tips for control decks to play after playing a lot of Temur, Bant Fog, Esper Chromium? Jeskai Control is one of the better control decks last season, and I'd imagine it's still pretty good this season. Dewey Scriptures? I guess the nice thing about Scriptures, while Scriptures doesn't sweep the board right away, it is a card that basically says, hey, you don't play creatures out next turn, because anything they play out this turn is going to die. Hey, GMP, thanks for the sub, Gifty. We played a Mardu aggro deck with Hero of the Precinct 1, and we have a build-around deck in the queue for that card as well. So during my upkeep here, before I draw a card for the turn, I'm going to go ahead and scry with my treasure map. We're trying to find another land drop here. I'm going to go ahead and bottom this with my scry, digging for a land. Swing and a miss. Phyrexian Scriptures triggers and kills all their creatures. Let's go ahead and opt here. Relevant magic-related links are enabled in chat. If you abuse the privilege, you will lose your ability to post in chat. How was Jund Midrange that you played? We've not played Jund Midrange on stream. Yep, deck submissions are $10 for subscribers. That is correct. Wow, this is actually really good for us. I wonder if they have the other crab in their hand. So they played out both of these, which means this Ritual of Soot gets to clean them up. So I'm going to keep that land there so we can hit another one, so we can play Carnage Tyrant next turn. Put this into play tap, because I already have 4 lands here to Ritual of Soot. I do play it as its stand desk. Wow, that's brutal. This card's been really sweet. This is another card people have been asking about, like, early favorites from the format. And Ravager Worm's the card I've been really impressed with. So when this comes into play, it gets to destroy a land that has a non-mana producing ability. So they get to go ahead and destroy my treasure cove here before I get to sacrifice treasure to draw cards. That being said, it's only a 4/5, so my Big Dumb Dino is going to be bigger than it. Makamook Savage with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Okay. We're actually, the mark of the vampire is going to be absurd here, right? Like, I get to mark this and attack, and if they try and double block, I can cast down their things before damage happens and kind of blow them out here. Ooh, I do not want to do that. So this is a vampire dinosaur now. And if they double block here, cast down is an instant, so I can kill the Ravager Worm before damage happens, which blows them out. I think they're probably in a position where, like, they're forced to double block, but... Hey, Big Red with the brand new Prime Sport. Thank you very much for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I appreciate that. And Ancient Slide. You know, there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine here. Welcome, welcome. And Mark of the Vampire not only makes our dino bigger than their dino, but it gives us life as well, which makes it impossible for them to race us. Thank you, Fizzy Dragon, for the biddies. Yeah, I'm not really sure that Temur has tools to come back from a board like this. They did, like, a Reclamation Change plus a way to tango with my Carnage Tyrant. Yeah, we were actually playing against something similar to the Temur pod deck we've been playing. Hey, Rosewa, thank you very much for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Let's try one or two more here with the Sultai deck. It definitely feels better with more lands in it. The Treasure Map Edition was also excellent there. That was a card that wasn't in the initial build. Sounds good, Whipman. Good luck in the rest of your matches today. I do not look at deck lists while I am streaming. There's too much going on between follow and chat and keeping up on the game and trying to play semi-coherently. The Prodigious Growth is really funny. I'll keep this. I'm gonna bottom this. Our hand's looking for more lands at this point, so. Jundith? No, I want it to be more descriptive, and Jundith doesn't describe the deck to a lot of people. Wild Growth Walker is really good at keeping up with the aggressive decks in the format, for sure. To the person who just messaged me about being timed out because you made a card suggestion, I'd encourage you to read the stream rules that encourage details about how to offer intelligent and constructive card suggestions. People that just shout out random card names in chat do get timed out because it breaks the rules. Double Mountain. So, Double Mountain, no play. Could mean maybe they're playing something controlling. Red-white land destruction, maybe. Mentioned Growth Chamber Guardian. What about Light Up the Stage? Light Up the Stage is fine. Light Up the Stage is good in a very specific type of deck, whereas Growth Chamber Guardian and Theater of Horrors fit into a wide variety of decks. So I kind of want a threat, but I also just need to hit some more land drops, like I'm missing a green source too. Come Eat Pizza with the 4-month resub. Happy Monday, enjoy your front page. Thanks for the 4 months of support. Thanks for keeping me around. And Dude Light with the brand new Prime. Welcome, welcome. Let's get our breeding pool down. So now we're just looking for a threat at this point. Maybe I should have been greedy and kept the Carnage Tyrant, because if I find any threat and they're playing something aggressive, Mark is good here. But again, like 3 mountains, no plays kind of implies they're likely playing a mid-range deck, right? Okay, Dire Fleet Daredevil. There was a big red deck last season before the most recent set release that was playing like Phoenixes and Dire Fleets and stuff like that, and a bunch of Banefires. That's a great draw. So I get to... I have blue, so it doesn't matter which land I play here. So I get to play this. Our curve's actually really good here. I get to go Nightveil Predator into Mark of the Vampire on it, into Prodigious Growth. So this will be a 5/5 next turn, and then it'll be a 12/12. Sulfur Falls. Maybe there's some kind of Drake's variation. Do you have a Spell Pierce? Doesn't look like it. It's been enjoyable to watch this channel grow in the past 7 months. Here's some more success in the future. Thanks for keeping me around, Slewy. I appreciate the Prime support. I am at a standing desk. I'm someone who's like, when I'm sitting in a chair, I like, my leg bounces up and down. So like, using a standing desk gives me a little bit more mobility. Lets me bob and weave and burn some of that energy instead of just sitting still all day. This card gives trample too, right? Of course it does. Second Phoenix. Oh my sweet summer child. They probably think they're gonna be able to double block this profitably. That's great. Yeah, they definitely should have blocked there. I'm glad we played enough games to get to do our thing in action. This sideboard is just a total mess, right? Like, we keep going to every game and I'm just like, well, the sideboard doesn't have anything that I want to bring in. This Ritual of Soot seems kind of mediocre. I don't know really what their deck is doing. I'm going to cut these Ritual of Soots, and I'm going to bring in a Moment of Craving and a Negate, I guess. Yeah, they could have counters in their deck, perhaps. I don't know exactly what they're doing. Let's submit like this. I feel like the Moment of Cravings plus the Knights plus the Cries are probably too much for the small aggro decks. And I could use a little bit of variety in the sideboard. Is Nightveil the cheapest hexproof creature in the format? I think so. I think so. Yeah, I feel like we could probably use like some Vraska's Contempts or something in the sideboard. Something to like deal with planeswalkers and like creatures like their phoenixes, which come back from the discard pile. Yeah, Vine Mare is also a hexproof creature. I like the fact that Nightveil Predator is evasive. Their deck doesn't seem particularly fast, so I think I'm going to keep this. Like, has most of my colors and lands and, like, some okay spells. Needs another green source at some point, but... Alright. If they have something aggressive as far as starts go, Moment of Craving is going to be very good. Because it serves to kill a creature and gains a little bit of life. Loctopus. That's a great nickname for this card. I think this card seems very reasonable in general. I'm actually going to play the Drowned Catacomb out here. And the reason why I'm playing this instead of the Woodland Cemetery is because if I opt into an opt, I want to be able to cast it. So, I agree that against some mid-range this deck could be okay, Ryom, but we actually ran into black-white mid-range / control twice, and just their mixtures of consumes and other tools just destroyed us. Their answers just line up very well into what we're doing. My favorite thing is when people come into the channel and they throw a temper tantrum about breaking the stream rules. The person that got timed out for breaking the channel rules was just like, they just let me know that they're not going to watch anymore. Tier. If you weren't going to follow the channel rules, you probably weren't going to be very happy being here anyways. The animations in Arena are very quick, and the reason why they're quick is so the animations don't take too much time off of your timer while you're playing. I think I'm going to go ahead and... Do I want to try and stick the Mark of the Vampire here? I think I do. I guess I'm pretty likely to get Spell Pierced, though. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and play the 4/5 out here. Tap them for 3 in the air. They tap out for a Phoenix. We have a window to stick the Mark of the Vampire next turn. Honestly, one of the things I really like about Arena is the fact that the animations are fast. They add some pizzazz to the game, but they don't like take up a bunch of time and they don't get in your way. So let's go ahead and put this on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and attack with this 5/5. And if they block, I can Moment of Craving the token. They did not block. I'm going to go ahead and shock this in. I'm going to go ahead and Moment of Craving the Legion War Boss right now. And the reason why I'm doing this on my turn as opposed to their turn when this is an instant is because I'd much rather prefer that my opponent don't have the ability to do something like Spell Pierce or Dive Down my interaction. So go ahead to Zumail. Happy birthday. Jay Sims, insert witty comment here. Thank you for the 2/3 of your support. Welcome back. We're not famous. We're just on the front page. Thanks, FGC. It's not even about toxicity, right? It's just like it's very easy for channels to like devolve into just like too many people shouting and screaming, especially when we have a lot of people. And like while the chat definitely moves faster when we have 2,000 people than when we have, you know, 1,000 people, like, the chat rules allow us to still get some meaningful interactions. I'm gonna go ahead and trophy this egg to hopefully keep the Phoenix from coming back. If they have a protection spell for this, this is, like, annoying, but not the end of the world. Because I am at least gaining 5 every turn with this, which is nice. Well, we are higher today. A lot of the front page viewers don't necessarily poke into chat, especially with the 10-minute follow rule too, though. There's no chat on the front page. Improperly determining a winner and bribery and wagering are now match losses. Okay.
I will fight with honor. Good choice.
Yeah, right. The dark MTGO ages is definitely one way to put it. Easy Banefire here. Yeah, I believe those were DQs before. I think we're actually, it doesn't feel like we're ahead anymore. I kind of need another piece of card advantage here. When did I start streaming? So I've been a Twitch partner for almost 4 years now, and I streamed for about a year before that. I've been streaming full time for the better part of a year now. I started streaming full time at like the beginning of March last year. Someone asked about the timing of the Assassin's Trophy. I definitely should have done it during their upkeep. It would have tied up their mana more. I got a little sloppy there when I got hasty. We're looking for a Carnage. The Legion War Boss is actually really funny because this makes a Goblin. This is a mistake on my opponent's part. This Goblin has to attack, which means I get to block it and gain 5. They definitely should have played this post-combat so it didn't make a Goblin that had to attack this turn. Would Curious Obsession be good as a source of card advantage? I don't think so. The threats in this deck generally close the game out pretty quickly once you have them. So I think strapping Curious Obsession up, like, I'd rather have things like Treasure Map or Planeswalkers maybe as card advantage rather than something like Curious Obsession. So that way I can generate card advantage even when I don't have a creature. Yikes. All right, I'm going to give them the Star of Extinction here. Thankfully, I have this negate, because this will hopefully make them miss their land drop this turn, because they have been struggling to hit lands. Star of Extinction plus Rekindling Phoenix is, like, really good. Yeah, exactly, Meadow. Like, while Nightveil Predator has flying, there's a lot of our other creatures that have hexproof that don't have evasion. So it's harder to hit with Curious Obsession to trigger that. And they have to keep attacking with this Goblin every turn, because Legion War Boss says the Goblin it makes that turn has to attack. So every time they attack into this Nightveil Predator, we gain 5 more. So while we are kind of just twiddling our thumbs here, our health total is building up, which is nice. They're lightning striking my dome because they don't want to move to hand size. Hadana's Climb. This is a card that can break this board stall. So, the beginning of every combat step, Hadana's Climb gives something a +1/+1 counter. And then, if the thing you've given a counter to, if the thing you've given the counter to has 3 counters on it, this flips into the Winged Temple, which gives a huge bonus.
What was lost is now returned.
So they grab their Sulfur Falls here. Yeah, striking the token would have been a better use of their mana. They've definitely given us more life than they need to. Is it more effective now in the current? I have no idea, Rex. It's hard to predict the future with stuff like that. What's going on? So I know we're currently on the front page of Twitch, so welcome to all the viewers dropping in from there. Banefire, sure. I am down to 37. Rather than the Nightveil, because it's already a useful threat and diversifying our threats. Well, I want to get the Nightveil to the point where I could go through these Phoenixes. Also, I can choose to power up multiple things here, right? So, like, before I put a 3rd counter on this, I could put 2 counters on here. all of the decks that I've put on my website, I think feel very reasonable. So yesterday, even though I wasn't streaming, I went through and put a bunch of different deck lists on my website that felt reasonable from the last 3 days when we played. Wow, that's rude. All right, well, that's not hexproof anymore. Still a big boy, though. Good morning, Mr. Knox, by the way. Up to 42. So, I think I do just want to flip this over and start attacking. So I'm gonna go ahead and climb here to gain infinite. We really need that 6-mana trample enchantment, huh? This is the casual gain 16s. Hey, Barrier, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Wanted to add this to Just Kai Control. Sounds good. I appreciate the support.
This will aid us.
Especially against Rekindling Phoenix, right? Like Rekindling Phoenix is like just infinite blockers here. Need more Aether Flux Reservoir. Yep, he's dead. Am I winning the race? I'm not really winning the race, huh? They're hitting for 4, 5, 11, 15. So I guess I have to start holding Nightveil Predator back again here. If we rip the Trample enchantment, they are dead, which is nice. Yeah, if they hit a land, they can double star, but there's really not anything I can do about that. Removal spell is also lethal, right? Since I have Trophy. So if I draw another way to kill one of these Phoenixes, I can, like, kill both Phoenixes and then climb and kill them. Does this make racing profitable? Yeah, I agree. Not having Contempt in the deck's a big miss. I was wondering what's your thoughts on the combo of Divine Visitation plus Afterlife. I think in general Divine Visitation is just a win more card. It's a card that's only good when you're already making a bunch of tokens, and in most decks, if you're making a bunch of tokens, you're probably winning the game. So you'd rather just play something that's, like, individually powerful rather than something like that. Alright, scrying with Treasure Map means they can't double star this turn, which is nice. I mean, I'm gaining 20. Gaining 20 is more than what they're attacking for me on the backswing. So, like, my health is going up when I attack with the Nightveil Predator. When their attack starts being more damage than I'm gaining, then I'll hold my thing back.
The choices we make reveal who we are.
They attack for 21. They attack for 6, 7. They're attacking for 13, Tom. They're not attacking with the Rekindling Phoenixes. If they attack with the Rekindling Phoenixes, they die on the backswing. So I gained 7 life by attacking with this because I attacked. I guess I'm blocking the token anyways. Yeah, maybe because I'm blocking the token, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't kill Karn or Phoenix because I want them to maybe get greedy and attack with one of these. They get to trophy my climb. This is such a tilt. I think I'm gonna negate this. And, like, they have expansion to negate back, but, like, that's going to happen next turn anyways. So I might as well have them tap out here. Although I guess this means I don't have lethal on board anymore, right? Because even if I draw a removal spell, I only have a 10/10. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next game here. The Star is just going to clean things up next turn. Instead of playing cute cards like Can't Be Blocked enchantments, this deck needs Vraska's Contempt in the sideboard is what it needs. Needs a way to exile things like Phoenix. Makamook, thanks for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. Jeff, I appreciate you. You made me a reasonable Magic players, but I suck at making decks, so I want to have you struggle with it first, so I don't. Thanks, sorry in advance. Just call me Mook. What's going on, Mook? Thanks for the tip. What's a good pizza place in Blono? Last pizza I got here was from Abani's, and where the sausage was just ground beef. Monocles isn't terrible. And the Monocles, if you like salad dressing with your pizza, like ranch and stuff like that, they have a Monocles dressing that I love to dip my pizza in. McNuts, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Oh, the Trample enchantment was still lethal. Okay, I should have taken one draw for the Trample enchantment. You're right. Let's sit down for a hot second. Enjoy the ride. If my desk would go down. The control panel on this desk is real awkward. Whee! Alright, on the play. It seems reasonable. It's got Predator plus both pairs of pants here. So, get to shock this in an opt. We need some lands, but hopefully opt can help us find some lands. Your buddy is wondering how they get unbanned from chat. You just have them message me their username and they'll get unbanned. Unless they were timed out, and then they'll just have to wait 10 minutes. We are on the front page again, Speed. We're on the front page every Monday morning through the end of the month. Atrophied, thank you for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. KCI is dead. Blix, thanks for the 3 months. Alright, if we really just want to draw land for like the next 3 turns here, right? Is this worth trophying? I don't think it is. Hitting the 4th land here is great. Get to get Nightveil Predator into play. Trophying, while the treasure map ramps them eventually, trophying them also ramps them. So it's like kind of 6 in one hand, half does it in the other type situation. What's going on, Don? This card is incredibly annoying. To spend 2 cards killing this. The robot audio started before 3 hours. Let's give Arena a quick kick here. All right, enjoy the ad page for a half second while I restart Arena. Arena is currently a beta application, and every so many hours, once it's been running, the audio distorts on me for some reason. But I'll just do a quick re-kick. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people also great. Buy their stuff. Back to your regularly scheduled Magic Arena. Yeah, you could just restart in the middle of a match. Your timer still runs down, but you get to keep going. They played out another one of these things. I think I'm just gonna marker the vampire here now and attack in. I'm TJ reminding you to chill. I wish TV ads were like your ads. We're concise and to the point, right? I do have double removal spell here to kill through this, but ideally we're just going to draw a land and put a growth on here. Alright, well. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this down. Just keep it from coming back. If you kill the egg, the Phoenix doesn't return to play. It's very possible I should have led on the Assassin's Trophy here, because that way if they had a counterspell, it didn't come back. I also should have done this during my opponent's upkeep, and the reason, this is what I messed up in the game 1 too. The reason to do this during their upkeep is so that way, if they have a counterspell, they have to spend mana on their turn to counter. As someone who's not on a diet Mishu Bear, I really like the keto, the Neo bars. I actually had to have them send me more when they sent me the first samples to try to see if I wanted them as a sponsor, because I ate them too quickly. They're good snacks. I bring them with me when I go on magic trips on occasional still. Do they have a negate here? If they don't have a negate or a spell pierce or a disdainful stroke here, a way to stop this, they're going to be pretty dead pretty quickly. Gobble gobble. They are going to have the ability. They are going to have the ability to cast Star of Extinction next turn, so if they hit that, they will get to destroy our giant Nightveil Predator. That being said, I do get to untap and deploy Carnage Tyrant, so we're not just dead if they have that. Okay, them burning all 3 treasure tokens here to cast Chemist's Insight bodes well for us, potentially. Means they hopefully don't have the Star of Extinction yet. Is my vampire going extinct, or is it A-okay? What do you think? Nope, that bodes well. Oh, is there a trophy in here? What a tilt. They get to, so this card lets them take a spell out of our discard pile and cast it. So they get to take trophy and then kill my growth. That's sad. Which then kind of puts us back to parity here. So they're not destroying the Predator itself because the Predator is hexproof, so it's not a legal target for that. But they can kill the enchantment because the enchantment is not hexproof. Boy. Easy attack with this, gains this 5. They're gonna block here because this comes back. Yeah, we had a good audience before the front page and we've just jumped up since. Thanks for being one of them, Bags. This is really good. So Carnage Tyrant has trample, which means since they elected to go to 1 there, they're gonna have to put 7 defense in front of this. The Band Flash deck's a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the current animations a lot. I think the current animations that Arena has are a good balance between like giving a little bit of flash but not being so long that you get like, you know, what was the druid combo called in or the shaman combo called? The claws that bind. The jaws that bind, the claws that catch, whatever the thing that was. Shudderwalk. Yeah, Shudderwalk. It's not, nobody's getting Shudderwalked. Nice fight with fire. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 42. Am I taking Band Flash to open this weekend? Maybe. Someone in chat just said they could send me the whole deck list. That would be sweet. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to find cards for it. So I don't have good attacks currently because both of these have the ability First Strike, which means if they double block my Carnage Tyrant, this dies before it does anything to these. Oh, this has First Strike too, right? Yep. Alright, get some Octopus into play here. Just like hoping to dodge a Star of Extinction here.
I will fight your choice.
Have a land. Who is your best non-subscriber? Well, I still don't have good attacks because so much First Strike. Yeah, any removal for the flyer is lethal. We just had to spend so much removal early, double tapping their Phoenixes. The fact that they've had like 3 Phoenixes in their top, like, you know, however many cards, like top 20 cards every game has been really rough. Especially considering this deck's a little bit misbuilt and doesn't have any Frost Contempt in it currently. Why is this deck called Sultai Bogles? So Sultai in Magic the Gathering refers to the 3-color combination that this deck is. In this case, Sultai refers to green, black, and blue. Just like Temur in the next deck that we're going to be playing today refers to a 3-color combination. In that case, blue, green, and red. And then Bogles harkens back to a card in Magic's history called Slippery Bogle, which is a 1/1 for 1 creature that has the hexproof mechanic, like most of these cards do. So when people refer to something as a Bogles deck in Magic, they are referring to a deck full of hexproof creatures like we are playing. Somewhere I can find all the deck lists you've used so far? Yeah, there's a couple different places. You can find everything on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JeffHoagland. Every video description, there's deck lists. You can also visit my Stream Decker page to find things posted there. Hey, thanks for the sub gift there, J-Bags. All right, Hottest Climb is real sweet here. Do you have a negate? I'm going to put the counters on Nightveil Predator just so I can get more lifelink with it, but if this gets powered up, we can make the Dino fly and get lethal that way. Undiscovered Bum with the brand new Prime support. Thank you very much for that. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month. So this doesn't flip until something has 3/1/1 counters on it, chat. Hey, J-Bags, doling out some more sub gifties. Thank you for the support. Remember, take a peek at the deck queue if there's something in there you'd like to see sooner. People who give out some gifts can bump things in the queue. I don't really have a lot of strong opinions on Nexus of Fate and Best of One. I don't really play Best of One, so I'm not really making content related to it. My opinion is pretty much that if you don't enjoy playing Best of One, you should stop playing it, and Best of Three is great. I'm not casting the Vine Mare because my opponent's out for this current board state is finding a copy of Star of Extinction, and playing Vine Mare out plays into their sweeper. Best of One gets into season rewards and Best of Three doesn't. This is the first pre-season ladder. When the second pre-season ladder season starts, Best of Three will be available as a ladder mode. So you're right. In the first pre-ladder season where they're testing things out and trying to figure out how their ranking wants to work, they didn't offer Best of Three. They soon will. They soon will. Magic Arena is a beta, and it's a beta not in that the application crashes often. It's fairly stable in my experience. It's a beta because it's feature incomplete. It's missing a lot of things that they want to include in the final release. No, my opponent has 11 power worth of First Strike. Putting counters on the Carnage Tyrant isn't going to do anything faster. I don't know. I haven't played Best of One, so I don't really have any educated or informed experience on if you should do something in Best of One. All right. They are digging deep for their Star of Extinction. All the way down to 59.
Well chosen.
Seriously, card? What a choice. What a choice. The illusion of choice. Oh, Karn. Well, we were close. That's fine. We have Vine Mare still. Maybe there's a chance. Take a chance on me. Do. That's a little bit awkward. Karn doesn't normally give you spells when he pluses, much less the exact spell that you need. We have been holding the Vine Mare, so could potentially be okay still. Bye, friends.
I am proud to have fought.
The good news is that star killed Karn, so they can't get the second star right away, guaranteed. Yeah, the animation on Star of Extinction is great. I really wish it would, like, permanently impact the board. I think that would be sweet. Like, after you cast a Star of Extinction, the board would just be a crater. And the stupid bird is still here. Just for reference. Sweet. Octopus. Octopus sounds great. Thanks for being responsive, chat. Do you think there's going to be a spectator client? Yeah, definitely. I think those are probably both on their radar. Ragaloon with a $25 tip. Thanks for the support. Terramander Builder on donation. Fantastic. Get that added to the list. Ooh, make this one bigger, please. I don't really want to put counters on the illusions, because then they're going to... Then they'll be able to kill my things that I'm putting counters on. Oh, I guess they are at 1. See, like, I don't know. They have so much removal. I think Mono Blue Tempo is probably still a fine tier 2 deck. It did get a couple of small upgrades. Like, it has a counter target creature spell that gives a 1/1 counter or something, which is sweet. We're just literally over half the Magic viewers right now because we're on the front page. That's great. This is why we didn't do what people were asking about.
The time has come.
The deck is a little bit of a meme. Alright, so because they drew Star of Extinction here, I'm actually not going to treasure map here because I don't want them to kill my land. No reason to attack here. They'll double block. I kind of want to force them to use the Star of Extinction this turn. So at the end of their turn, I'll activate treasure maps so that we can start drawing extra cards the next turn. What's going on, Cookie Lord? We've been averaging like 2,500 with Arena. This morning we're on the front page of Twitch, which gives a solid viewer count. What is in my discard pile? No Assassin's Trophies. I guess they could cast down and kill this, though. Alright, have the treasure map. Yeah, they don't take cards from my exile though. That's rude. There's only 21 cards left in their deck. Can we deck them? They have this negate alongside the Star of Extinction 2, which sucks. We actually maintained a lot of the front page viewers longer than I thought last week. You drop off some once you get off the front page, but we get more than I thought we would, for sure. No, it's actually going to be the last match with this deck. We haven't played it for about an hour and a half now. Definitely need some Vraska's Contempts in it. The treasure maps have been good. More treasure maps might potentially be good as well. But deck definitely needs a good way to deal with Rekindling Phoenix and Planeswalkers. Is Wizards paying to get to stream on the front page to promote the game, or how does that work? No, WotC doesn't really give me anything. When you're a Twitch partner of a certain size, you can get on a list, a waiting list to like get into a front page rotation, which is why I'm up there every Monday for this month. Ziggy Mondes, loving the new standard, Bruce. Thank you for the 3 months. I'm really loving Jam in standard. Thanks for the support. Any thoughts for Sleep? No. So a deck generally only wants to play a card like Sleep when it doesn't have access to colors of mana that like have better spells in it. So like a deck like this would rather just like play Sweepers or actual removal.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
Is that a low bar? Yeah, you can pop in the Discord server for my subscribers here. Did you side out Soot? I did side out Soot, because I have a bunch of spot removal spells here too. Are they Star of Extinctioning? Is that what this attack means? I think this attack means Star of Extinction, right? Really? Okay, interesting. Maybe they're waiting on this to flip. You can find a bunch of my favorite decks from the new set on my website here. Huh. That's like pretty good, huh? There's 33 cards left in my deck. Let's go dig in. Yeah, I guess I could have tried to do this into this and hope they don't have another counterspell. Actually, we hit a higher peak than that last weekend, Rebel. 9,300 is my peak for concurrence. Thanks everyone for hanging out today, by the way. Whispers aren't being delivered to me. I have a whisper from you. So they're forced to chump block here, and then hopefully they're going to play the Star of Extinction, and then if that negate was their only counterspell, this Find is going to pick 2 creatures back up from our discard pile, which is great from us. Well, yours was delivered. I wonder if the other person is someone I blocked. Occasionally when people get banned, I also block them if they're obnoxious. Thanks, Hicks. Hope you're having a good Monday. Welcome. 9 months of great analysis and dog walking. Keep up the great content. Thanks for the 9 months. Go to Scoop Step. I appreciate the 3/4 of a year. So this is still 2 more away from flipping, but they have treasures here to draw cards with Treasure Cove. So again, the goal here is to try and get them to use the Star of Extinction before we find Finality and put more creatures into play. The Hadana's Climb is threatening to flip next turn. I have Azcanta going. I have Treasure Cove going. So while this gets to destroy one of my utility lands, I have a lot of utility lands going on here.
Are you certain of your decision?
Have another land. They're down to 14 cards in their deck. Down to 13 cards in their deck. Down to 12 cards there. For those that are new to Magic, when you go to draw a card and can't in Magic, you immediately lose the game. So, if they don't have a negate here, this Finality is lethal, right? I Finality and put some counters on here, and then Hadana's Climb is gonna flip and give this flying. They could have another negate here, right? Like, they've drawn through most of their deck, so I'd kind of be surprised if they don't have a negate. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Well, no, Hadana's Climb would give it flying. I'm actually just not going to bother attacking here, because if they double block, I don't want to have to activate Climb. I want to activate Search for Azcanta, plus my treasure map this next turn. So what cards does Karn have access to here? A Lightning Strike, a land, a Phoenix. So I assume they're getting another Phoenix. It's been a wild game. Both these last 2 games have been really pretty good. Hopefully they just deck out here. Like, I don't think their card can really plus anymore. Double Phoenix does threaten to race us, but like, if they don't have another Star of Extinction after this one, Nightveil plus Mark of the Vampire is going to bury them.
What was lost is now returned.
Just, you know what, punt count? Just don't even think about it. You'll just be so much happier not thinking about it. Don't try and listen to what they're doing. Remember when you read something from there that that's someone who had to ask what all the data means? Karn sounds like the Mortal Kombat announcer. He does a little bit, doesn't he? So I have 5 lands total here. Oh, we are starring. Okay. To activate this in case I find a negate. Because if I find a negate, I could use this and this to cast it. Trophy. Perfect. Deal. We had a Mark of the Vampire earlier that gave us a bunch of life.
I will be better prepared next time.
Alright, so Karn's gone. Yeah, it's real annoying, Tumble. Honestly, if like I said, I've said this on stream a lot recently, right? Like, if you're expecting Modern to change, you probably haven't been paying attention. You just kind of need to accept that it is what it is. Either like it for the degenerate mess that it offers, or like move on with your life. Oh, geez, are they casting Find here? Yep. You can't trophy your own land. Assassin's Trophy explicitly says destroy target permanent and opponent controls. So if you do destroy the land that it's targeting, those are 2 Phoenixes they're getting back. Well, yeah, Daredevil is real sweet. Start the scrying. We're looking for... Did I already use the Trample enchantment this game? I did already use the Trample enchantment this game. That's unfortunate. Do I prefer pancakes or waffles? Definitely pancakes. So let's kill this. And then with the other mark of the vampire to power this up with lifelink, we might actually just deck them here. They're going down to 11. They're going to have 10 cards in their deck next turn. So if they don't have another Star of Extinction, we could be okay here. Like, their Karn's not doing a whole lot at this point. I could see the new Hellkites being good in there. It's probably something we should test at some point. Yeah, there's still a Phoenix in the bin. So I killed the egg because there's still a Phoenix in the bin.
Awaken.
They have 3 Phoenix in their hand because they borrowed my copy of Find. There's a lot more tools in my deck than their deck still here, so I really feel like if I just had like a pair of Vraska's Contempts, we'd have won this match by a lot. But like not having Contempt's been a big deal. The overlay doesn't show you how many cards are in their deck. It's not that my thing is blocking it, it's that the overlay doesn't give you that information, Charles. The overlay that you mouse over is above everything on my screen. So, it's not that it's hidden, it just doesn't show it. That's why I've been regularly updating folks. When I mouse over it, it shows it, but when you mouse over it at home, it doesn't show it. Yeah, you can count their graveyard. Is there any reason to consider Anticipate over Opt in this deck? Or does it... The one turn makes it a lot worse. The mana efficiency is a big deal. Opponent, did you disconnect or something? I want to play this game to its conclusion. It's been a tight game of Magic. Yeah, this is still the same blue-red match. Their deck's really interesting. Rekindling Phoenix is such a fantastic Magic card. Just like the fact that it's able to play offense and defense so efficiently is great. Yeah, you can find all the decks that we're going to be playing later today in the deck queue on my website. My deck still has 28 cards in it. My deck count should show up on the overlay. If I toss you the other 85, can we get my Jund pile next? 110% Brookin. You know how it works. And actually, it should be less than 85. Because your Jund pile's got a bunch of points already, right? I think your Jund pile went in with 25 or 30. Not to tell you to give me less money, but... Draw a card with this. Try and settle this up. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a third negate here. Yeah, Nifty, we're currently up on the front page, so we're running a little bit hotter than normal. Thanks everybody for dropping in today, by the way. Hope everyone had having a good Monday, good weekend. Phoenix plus Chain Whirler. That's a good point. How many Chain Whirlers have they been through? We've got 1, 2, 3. They could have a 4th Chain Whirler hiding somewhere. You're right. Man, that's what this attack is, isn't it? It's a Chain Whirler. Do I just take the hit? I think I just take the hit. Are all 4 dead? This is 1. Oh, all 4 are dead. Damn it, I missed it. Yeah, I totally missed it. Thank you. What does that attack mean? What does that attack mean? Yeah, I definitely missed the 3rd one here because there were 3 grouped together. I definitely only counted 2 here. Whoops. Has front page affected followers? Yeah, usually we get a little bit of a boost of followers when we're on the front page.
Some solutions must be built.
How do you explain anything? Thanks. Well, thanks for dropping back in again, Dinker. That's great to know. It's hard to know if people come back from the front page. So, folks, if you are enjoying it, you do end up following the channel, be sure to let me know. I always appreciate hearing from people that are going to be watching. Oh, this is what the line was. They have another trophy. So if I would have blocked, they would have trophied my mark of the vampire, and my predator would have died. This is a good line. So the attack there did mean they had a way to kill this, but it wasn't Chain Roller. They are dead unless they have a counterspell, which is another reason to not block. And let's dig for a negate of our own. I have a couple negates in and other removal spells, so we could potentially kill them here. I'm gonna play this out as a way to bait a counterspell here, I think. JK. Look at that. Look at that. Just like we drew it up. So do you have double counters? Or did we sneak it out here? This is a tight game. They sat on 1 health forever. And these silly phoenixes just kept us way back at bay. I have 4 lands available, so I was already playing around Piers. Oh, I did. Did I miss a bit? Oh, Brecken did come through with the donation. 25 plus 15 plus 60 is a cut, right? That's what you think? Definitely, Brecken. And that's for the Jund deck you said, right? So we'll do that next. For people who aren't familiar, we get a lot of new viewers here today. In addition to streaming Magic, basically everything I stream on this channel is viewer-submitted deck list. So people send in donations, get their decks in a queue, and I kind of play through them in order. Wraith MMX, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. And people who donate extra get their decks played a little bit sooner. So basically, if you're impatient, you can send extra money in to get your deck played almost right away. In Brecken's case, he sent in a large amount of money to cut his deck right into today's queue. So normally it's very cheap to add a deck to the queue. It's only 10 bucks. What kind of cut is it for 9K people to watch Stasis? To make me switch to Magic Online, it's got to be at least $1,000. Ark, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, I'm trying to think what kind of answer they could have here. But it's tempting. Our highest viewer number of all time was actually last week when we were on the front page. It was about 9,300. Well, they're already in blockers here, so they can't, once you're blocking, you can't flash in another creature and block. Yeah. And I don't think there's any flash flyers in their colors. Hey, Ace Tiger with the $10 tip. Thank you very much for that. For the blue-white skies. Fantastic. Thanks for the support. Oh, Dream Eater. Yeah, they could totally have Dream Eater. All right, perfect. That was a sweet game. Opponent played that really well. They maintained their last point of health for a long while there. We're over 9,000, chat. All right, let's talk about this deck really quick here before we move on to the Jund mid-range that Brecken just cut in. So I feel like we got this to a pretty close spot to what I was happy with. The adding some more lands so we get our land drops consistently felt really good. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure I'm in love with these sweeper effects. The Prodigious Growth, this card was really sweet, and strapping this on Nightveil Predator was awesome. I almost want a second one of these somewhere. Something that definitely needs to happen in the sideboard is we need some copies of Vraska's Contempt somewhere. Those could maybe even be good main over some of these sweepers. Like swap 2 of these for 2 Vraska's Contempt, and maybe get a third Contempt in the board. It's also possible that more treasure maps or some other way to generate card advantage